All right, let's jump right into this explainer of the Build Something master document. What we're looking at here is a proposal for a massive, truly fundamental shift in how humans and artificial intelligence actually interact. It outlines a completely different architecture for the future of the internet. We're talking about a system where human agency isn't just sidelined by all this new machine abundance, but is actually strengthened by it.
And we really have to start right here, with this one fundamental question. What do humans actually want? Today, the whole world is obsessed with asking how intelligent these machines can become or how fast we can make them run. But the source document argues we are completely solving the wrong problem first. Before we ask machines to optimize our future, we have to actually establish what we want that future to look like.
Think about it. The source material argues that an AI literally cannot be aligned with humanity if humanity has never clearly established what it wants the machine aligned to in the first place. Right now, algorithms are just out there optimizing for cheap proxies, clicks, engagement, revenue, simply because we haven't given them a better directive.
So the current bottleneck really comes down to how platforms figure out what we want. Most of the modern digital economy is built entirely on inference. Platforms watch what you click, they track how long you linger on a page, and then they secretly try to guess what you're after. This proposed system flips that completely over to declaration. I mean, why try to guess what a human wants when they are perfectly willing to just explicitly tell you? You declare your intent, and then the machine simply helps you get there.
To actually make this work, the system asks for a minimum daily contribution based on these three core questions, basically turning complex human judgment into a really simple daily habit. It asks, what is funny? What is beautiful? What is true? The source notes that humor, aesthetics, and belief are just profoundly human. A machine might be able to generate a joke, sure, but humans have to decide if it actually makes us laugh. It's a daily ritual that requires very little time, but it generates incredibly valuable human signal.
Now, all of these judgments, what you personally find funny, beautiful, or true, are preserved in what the document calls the record of humanity. Think of this as a foundational evidentiary database. And crucially, human actions and machine actions are clearly distinguished here. A machine's output is never, ever confused with a human's preference. It records exactly who acted, what they did, what the machine did, and what happened next.
And what's really fascinating is that this record builds over time. Nothing gets secretly wiped away or rewritten. If you strongly believe one thing in 2026 and then new evidence changes your mind by 2030, the record preserves your evolution without erasing your history. The system doesn't punish you for changing your mind, it just makes your intellectual evolution visible and understandable.
The ideal future state outlined here is one of a durable identity. You don't have to become a completely different, fragmented person on every single website you visit. You have one continuous record that accumulates a demonstrated history of your unique tastes, your accurate predictions, your distinct disagreements, and your actual, proven expertise.
Okay, moving into the intelligence layer and the broader ecosystem. How does this philosophy actually operate in practice? Well, the source document outlines a shared operating model with several distinct properties that we interact with.
Let me introduce you to Vera. Vera is the optional AI intelligence layer working across this entire ecosystem. She can help match your explicitly declared needs to available resources out in the real world. And importantly, she can challenge you. She might notice your stated goal doesn't quite match your recent choices. But here is the absolute kicker. She can never, ever override your human authority. She exposes the information, you make the decision. The ecosystem itself breaks down into these specific, purpose-built apps, with each one acting as a different door into that same shared record we talked about. We've got Machine League for benchmarking, Humans Must Decide for resolving disputes, Beat the Machines for testing AI detection, and Solve Problems Faster for isolating exact points of disagreement. Take Machine League, for instance. AI companies are constantly claiming they have the best model, but Machine League stops and asks, best at what exactly? It runs live competitions where humans actually judge machines on specific dimensions like humor, aesthetics, or instruction following. So it's this dynamic benchmark where human preference actually dictates the winner, not just some synthetic test. And then, if we look at the Humans Must Decide property, it uses this structured primitive to resolve disputes and create real accountability. It presents a claim, lays out the evidence, offers the strongest fair counter-argument, and then puts the final verdict entirely in the hands of the human room. It's an accountability instrument that trusts public judgment over institutional assertions. On the slightly more playful side, Beat the Machines packages this heavy philosophy into an immediately understandable game. It simply asks,
Think you can beat AI? Prove it. It turns your ability to detect AI-generated content into a measurable recorded signal. It basically proves that creating valuable institutional data can actually be fun and engaging. All right, let's transition into the judgment economy. This is really the economic engine driving this entire vision.
Here is the absolute crucial point. As machine intelligence makes generating ideas, code, and images incredibly cheap and totally abundant, human judgment actually becomes the scarce, valuable resource. Think about it. If an AI can generate 1,000,000 possible solutions in a single second, the bottleneck is no longer generation. The bottleneck is human selection, deciding which of those 1,000,000 ideas actually matters and deserves our attention.
Because human judgment is the ultimate asset here. Its independence has to be fiercely protected. The document states a hard, non-negotiable rule. Organizations can pay to ask the room a question, but they can never, ever purchase the consensus. Money can buy the room's attention, sure, but the answer is never for sale. This ensures the integrity of the human judgment remains completely intact.
This literally flips the modern internet on its head. Today, platforms extract private wealth from your behavioral data, but this proposed system is structurally designed for value circulation. It's built on the premise that since human participation creates the asset in the first place, the economic value generated should circulate back to the humans and the problems that created it, rather than just being hoarded by a founder.
But what is value here? It's not just defined as top-line revenue. The institution aims to measure actual, tangible human value. Did the system save someone time? Did it reduce suffering? Did it connect unused resources to a declared human need? By mapping what humans need against what resources are actually available, the network coordinates real-world problem-solving.
Which brings us to the ultimate alignment loop at the heart of the document. Alignment isn't just some rule coded into a machine once and forgotten about. It's a continuous, living process. The human declares a goal, the machine helps, the outcome is firmly recorded, humans judge if that outcome was actually good, and the system learns for next time. Now, the long-term economic aspiration, and to be clear, the document strongly stresses this is an aspiration, not a currently funded promise, is that a member performing their minimum daily judgment could eventually earn a life-changing economic floor. They use $50,000 as a working target. It envisions a future where humans are literally paid for their unique taste, their perspective, and their judgment, treating it as a vital contribution to the global economy. So I'm going to leave you with this really provocative thought straight from the implications of this master document. For years, we have all been told that if you aren't paying for the product, you are the product. But in a future dominated by infinite machine abundance, your ability to select, to decide, and to judge is the most valuable thing left on the table. What actually happens when you realize your judgment is your agency?